This is Ilona, out for a walk on a Friday afternoon. Let's have a little chat. There's some windmills over there and they're not moving. Not moving, not at all. There's no wind and there's no sun. And I'm walking past a wood on that side, big open field on that side. So, oops, I've got my little tripod thingy to hold on to. Yep. So it's yes, I was thinking about being single, about the pros and cons of being single, the advantages and disadvantages, and to be honest, I can come up with a lot more advantages of being single than disadvantages. Just a bit of a background, my young family life was not that happy really, and because my mum and dad were constantly arguing, and in the end they did split up. But the problem was that my dad preferred male company, and so he went to the pub every night. So he used to come home and we were in bed and we could hear the arguments going on, and never realised at the time, you know, that not all families live that way. Some of the families have really happy mums and dads, you know, but my mum and dad wasn't happy. So maybe that's sort of stuck in my mind. And yeah, so single life. I never really fancied settling down, you know, settling down with the same person, with a partner, with getting married, with having children. Never really fancied that. So as time went on, I thought to myself, well, I don't have to do it. So I didn't. And there's a lot of noise going on. It sounds like Canada geese. A lot of noise. Stop now. Canada geese. Oh. Yes, so I decided that I wasn't going to go down that route. The actual thought of, you know, having children and then being totally responsible for them until they leave home, 18 or whatever, I just couldn't see me playing that role, and so it just never happened. I didn't wake up one day and say, that's it, I am definitely not doing this. It was always a seed at the back of my mind, you know. There were times, a couple of times actually, when I thought, maybe I ought to just find somebody, and maybe I ought to do it, you know. Maybe I ought to have the kids, and then I thought, pull yourself together, woman. Don't be so silly. So anyway, those ideas sort of went in one side and out the other side. So being single now and a lot older, of course, I've got used to the situation. I've had plenty of practice to get on with my life and do what I want to do. But of course the consequence will be now that there will be nobody to look after me in my old age, and I totally accept that, because I looked after myself over the years, all the years, and I don't think you should have children just so that they can look after you when you're old. No, you should have children because you want them. But anyway, so I accept now that maybe I don't know where I'm going to end up, but stay in my house for as long as I can. But when I am old and infirm, I may need a little bit of help with some physical things, but I will cross that bridge when I come to it. At the moment, as you can see, things are hunky-dory. I'm just doing this 5-mile walk. Anyway, yeah, you see, if I had hooked up with somebody, I did actually hook up with somebody twice. Twice. I did have a long-term boyfriend, and we did actually live together when I was in my 20s, and we went to Birmingham actually, because he knew people in Birmingham, and we got a flat, and yeah, it wasn't very nice, because as it turned out that he wasn't very nice to me. I seem to have met the wrong kind of people. Now, just before that boyfriend, I did have a very, very nice boyfriend who did want to marry me, and but I didn't really want to get married at that time. Again, I think I was 20, and I thought, I'm too young for that. Although he's a very nice man, he was, you know. We were together for a few years, but there was just something saying in my brain, you've got to get out there and live your life. And my life could have been very different from what it has been, because if I'd have said yes to that one, the nice one, I probably would have had a couple of kids with him. So who knows where that would go, I don't know. But I decided that was not really my thing. And I felt terrible, really, that, you know, he was a nice chap. And, but it just, that kind of life wasn't for me. Anyway, then I met up with somebody else and moved away and was with him in a flat. Now, this was a bit of a disaster. He turned quite nasty and treated me quite badly. So it was me that made the move to get out and move into a shared flat with another girl, because I'd got a job in that area in Birmingham, so I really wanted to stay there. And yeah, it was quite traumatic for me, that was, you know, because I felt, I mean, this is daft, isn't it? The problem was him, but I felt it was my fault, you know. And after thinking about it for a while, it wasn't really my fault. I tried my very hardest to make it work. But well, I won't tell you all the ins and outs of it, but he wasn't very nice. In fact, we were out in a pub once talking to a group of people, and it was a place where I didn't know, and I didn't know anybody, but he knew people. And I was talking to someone who I thought was a part of the group, you know, it was a group of people. So I thought, my boyfriend then was ignoring me, so I thought, oh, I'll try to chat to this person here, he's quite nice. And all of a sudden, my horrible boyfriend gave me a whacking kick on the shin, and it was so painful. I mean, and I said, what did you do that for? And he said, you know. Well, I didn't. But anyway, I mean, he wasn't in the habit of beating me up. I can't say that. But that was just one occasion where he accused me of flirting with somebody else, and I wasn't. But yeah, so I've had one or two narrow escapes, you know, with the wrong people, and it's just really reinforced this idea in my head that I'm far better off on my own. And so here I am, you know, look at that view, look at the woods, it's lovely. I'm a bit of a rebel as well, because, you know, if somebody wants to control my life and expects me to be a certain type of person, you know, sort of doing things as a couple, I would find that very difficult, because, well, I've never had to do that. I have been a couple with 2 or 3 long-term boyfriends, but to do that permanently, full-time, every day, year in, year out, I would find that difficult. And so it's better to admit that and be myself, because if you're forced to do something by your partner, husband, wife, or whatever, then resentment starts building up then, and then you talk about things not being fair, you know, and you might want to say, well, why do we have to do that? Why can't we do this or that? You know, and my arm's flopping about a bit here. So, yeah, so, yeah, resentment is going to rear its ugly head eventually. Now, I'm the kind of person where I can't fall out with people sort of in a big way. If something's not right for me, then I skedaddle, I get out, and I'm not going to be putting up with things that are worrying me, upsetting me, and so that's what I do. Yeah, I mean, I do try and work things out. If I am in a couple, I'll try and work things out. But after a while, you know, I think, well, this relationship that I am in is one-sided. And I believe that there should be equality in all couples. You know, one is not better than the other. You know, one shouldn't have more say than the other. Every decision between couples should be worked out together and come to an agreement or a compromise, if you like. Maybe that's my problem. I find it difficult to compromise. But then, of course, as time goes on, I I have chosen this life. So yeah, it's a funny old life, isn't it? It really is. But at this moment in my life, I have no regrets about what I've done, where I've been, who I've been with, who I know. You know, it's yeah. If I could go back and change things, well, there's not very much that I would change. Yeah. There's one thing I might change. One, I'm too trusting. I give people a second chance or a third chance, but then that's it. They don't get a fourth chance. You know, I try to compromise up to a certain point, up to an extent, but when I feel that things are not equal, things are not fair, I think I'm pretty fair with people, and so I will be honest and say if something's not working for me, I will say so and skedaddle, go, just go. Bye bye, I'm off. So anyway, I admire people that have been in long-term relationships, you know, for like, I don't know, 40, 50 years, you know, family lives. It gets to me sometimes at Christmas time when families want to be together. But then again, you see some families that go through the motions because it's expected of them. And there again, it's part of compromise, going along with what the other person wants. Maybe I'm totally selfish. I don't know. But I'm trying to be a little bit more caring and giving now. I don't have any pressures on me now for you know, a place to live. I don't have to go to work. I have a pension and I have a house, so I can now compromise a bit. Does that make sense? I would say the single life is pretty good. So anybody that's either in a relationship that doesn't want to be in a relationship, why not give it a chance? Skedaddle. Get out of that relationship. But don't worry if you feel lonely or if you think nobody loves you. It doesn't matter. I'm not lonely. If anybody is desperately looking for a partner, I would say don't look, because when you look you don't find. And that's it. So I gave up looking a long time ago. I got some very nice friends and that will suit me fine. So I don't need to be in a partnership with anybody.